Man, we've been getting quite a few new recruits lately. Lapons, Pawn, some other people, and a gambler. Everything's been going pretty good. So, yeah, why don't we just take a nice walk around the castle, maybe drink some tea near the bay. Sounds like a nice morning. How's it going, Barkus? Hey, this is pretty easy going. We've got nothing to do. Castle's nice and populated. Everything's happy. We've still got a gigantic dragon as our mantelpiece. That's pretty metal. Honestly, even if we're rebels going up against an extremely powerful empire, life's pretty good. Yeah, look at it. Hey, buddy, you doing okay? Is that like a mini Lapons? You kinda have his color scheme. I mean, did we ask him if that's what he did? Maybe he just took our one and only boats. I don't know where that thing goes when I'm not around. Nah, actually, you're in the afterlife, and, surprise, you're in limbo, which is like the worst afterlife because it's non-committal? Like, you couldn't even have gone to hell, my dude? Oh, hold on a sec. She's not coming out of my pocket. Okay, here she is. Yeah, she's always been this small and puppet-like. And I'm supposed to help him with that, or am I supposed to help the elves? Buddy, your sentence structure could use some work. Well, what about, O'Neill? She hasn't been pulling her weight. Yeah, that's also pretty bad. Also, like, people to beat up the Empire dudes, but Hope's also good. Yeah, I kinda figured, Gremio. Alright, so, these two are going to join, meaning we have 3 more open character slots. Of course, I didn't change just yet. We've got to do this. And whoop. Now the castle looks completely different. Alright, so here we have our 6 characters. Sheena is a very good character, actually, even if he is a bit of a dick. He's good in both strength and magic, and he comes with a lightning rune, which I think you can remove. Moss is fairly good. He's definitely more physical than magical, and of course his main focus is in strength. He's an okay character, definitely not one of my favorites. Antonio is, oddly good. First things first, I was actually wrong when I said Lapont was the first character who could equip a shield. Antonio is the first one who can equip his shield if you get him first. And honestly, despite being one of the castle maintenance staff, he's actually not half bad. He's still not the best rune user. That'll definitely be Sheena in our group, as well as Kirkus, our new elf friend. But honestly, Antonio's armor is actually pretty good, just because he can have that extra bit of armor to help, so he's not a bad front row unit once you get him leveled up. Kirkus, as I said before, is pretty good with runes. He's also a long-ranged character, and he's kind of mediocre at that. He's not terribly powerful, so keep him in the back, of course. I don't think he's, like, as fragile as Luke or Ted, but you should still keep him in the back, and try to keep him using runes. Maybe you might want to do a little bit of training with him just to get a few spell slots available, because the more you have, the better. I believe I gave him the water rune, meaning we'll have a few uses of healing magic. I also replaced Gremio's Prosperity rune with the Wind rune. Gremio's not the best magic character, but I figured I should give him the Wind rune, because I really don't have much of a use for the Prosperity rune anymore now that I have Gambling. Though that being said, we are kind of on a long segment with a fair few shops with expensive items, so it might have been too soon to ditch that. Anyway, though, we have been to this village before, of course. This is where we got Moss and Sansuke, so welcome back, Moss. This area has also always been here, but we didn't go here before because, well, we couldn't go here. Reason being is right here. If we tried to progress this way, we'd basically just loop in on the same area over and over again until we went backwards. But with Kirkus here, we can actually pass. Now, this is the point in the game in which battles actually become kind of difficult. With these guys, for example, Holly Spirits are fairly tough, though not because of the Holly Boys. They can sick those guys on you, and honestly, it's really not effective, as, let's just be honest, I'm going to show it right here, this is going to do nothing. They are fairly fast, but, like, they just fuck off. And we got a critical on, like, the least important character to get a critical on. That's great. Alright, so yeah, Holy Spirits are pretty tough. They've got a lot of HP, and defense ain't bad either. Thankfully, as long as the Holy Boys are present, they will waste their first turn sending those guys down, so you've got a turn to not get your ass killed, which is kind of nice. We're also going to want to heal Antonio, because he is running a little low, doesn't really have much HP in the first place, but yeah, check that out. Critical 117 didn't kill that dude. Also, pretty powerful magic, didn't do it either. Ooh, that being said, I did get a counter off on him, though. But yeah, they're pretty powerful, and they come in threes most of the time, so, yeah. Ooh, and yeah, it's mainly their durability that's the problem. I would say that they are the toughest enemies in this area, just because they do a good amount of damage. Though, in fairness, part of the problem is, of course, the fact that I don't really have the most defensive characters. Then again, they're not bad at defense either. Romeo been around for a while and he's highly leveled. Yeah, they can counter as well, which that doesn't go well for me, honestly. Feel free to waste a few spell slots because this dungeon isn't too long. It's a bit lengthy, especially if you get hit by a lot of random encounters, but there's a town not too far after this, so I'd conserve a little bit, but don't feel like you need to, like, go to the end of your rope. Though, maybe I have been overusing that a little bit. Even though they do have a lot of durability and can attack oh, jeez. Okay, so I guess I should also add that onto the list of things Holly Spirits do pretty well, and that's countering. Actually, no, now that I'm remembering how I played this area, yeah, I was kind of nervous about counterattacks most of the time. They do like doing that. It's not like Moss was underleveled or anything, but he got hit just the same. And yeah, I had to leave that battle in with Antonio, just because you got to see one of the level ups. That is the kind of thing you see whenever you level a character up when they're low-leveled, and it is just the best thing every time. Oh, hi, how's it going? Did you? What did you screw up? Run back to the beginning, please? I mean, sure, yeah, I'll take you, weird person who just appeared out of nowhere, but, who are you, and where are you from? Oh, and there she goes. Well, that's Vicky. We got her out of nowhere, but she's actually an extremely helpful character, because she will teleport you where you need to go. If you've visited a town before, she can take you there in an instant. The only problem is, she can't bring you back immediately. She can only send you out to other towns, but it does save so much time. It is just it's extremely helpful. Having Vicky is really good, and there's a reason the story just gives you her out of nowhere. Anyway, these are the kobolds. I guess second verse same as the verse. I didn't say any of that right. Anyway, they're kind of like Holy Spirits in that they're fairly tough attack-wise, but honestly their defenses are nowhere near as good. That being said, unlike Holy Spirits, the allies they come with are not at all tough, or, well, they're tougher than the Holy boys, even if they don't have the best defense themselves. That's what I should have said instead. Yeah, they're better than Holy boys as backup, but they're still not that good. They don't have a lot of durability, unlike the Holy Spirits, which, honestly, I'm A-okay with that. Anyway, I do believe I show off another battle with them for a reason. Got a needle, that cures balloon, which is the best status. Alright, so I believe right here is, well, first off I have to show them actually doing a thing, since I kind of murdered them before. But second off, we're gonna show off Wind of Sleep, the level 1 spell of the Wind Rune. Alright, so of course this should put enemies to sleep, and we're gonna use it. Okay, well, first of course we're gonna Death Eater this poor fool in the corner. I don't know why, it's not like these guys are tough, but fuck you, you go to hell. Oh wow, and Gremio's super slow. Wow, he is really slow this round. Okay, check it out, it's Wind of Sleep. Oh man, what does Wind of Sleep do? It puts people to sleep! If it works. The problem is, this is an RPG, and while Suikoden does a lot of things right, unfortunately, it doesn't do status effects right, which really sucks a lot, honestly. Like, there are just so many good, like, big changes to RPGs and little changes, a lot of quality of life stuff, but yeah, status effects are not all that useful, and that's a pretty big disappointment, actually. I mean, some people might not think so, because, oh, it's just the norm that status effects suck unless you're playing fucking SMT or something, but I really feel like it should be more effective, especially since you have spell slots. I only have 2 uses of Wind of Sleep or whatever that was called. I would prefer it be worth my time to use it. Oh well. Anyway, we're actually pretty much done with this dungeon. But first, there's a town on the other side of the Great Forest, just like the, well, Great Forest town. But this one's kind of quiet, and has a whole lot of doghouses, apparently. Well, I mean, there were kobolds out there that tried to kill us. Do they count? Oh, hello. Are you all Oh! Oh, why are you so vengeful, Kiramimi? Oh, well, good luck with that, friends. Aw. Look at him go. He sure did. Alright, that's Kiramimi. He's a kobold, and he's adorable. Too bad most of them are trying to kill us, because kobolds are super cute. They're probably my favorite race in Suikoden, because they're just really freaking adorable. Though that being said, the cutest one is definitely in Suikoden 2. I love that guy. But no time for kobolds, especially if they've all been kidnapped. We can't worry about that problem. We've got to worry about the elves, because they need our help, and I'm sure they'll be happy to see us. First, of course, we have a few new enemies, Strongarm and Kobold. The Kobold in the back, I think he's supposed to be a mage, but between you and me, I haven't actually seen them do, like, a good attack. They don't have a lot of strength, and they just attack you with their staff, and they're super weak. Also, this attack is great. I love Strongarm. He's my favorite enemy. But also, he's very damaging, so either kill him immediately or kill his partner so he doesn't throw a motherfucker at you. He does have one other attack which we'll also be seeing in this battle, just because when he's alone, he does... Oh, everybody else attacked first. Sure, throw off my timing, jeez. He does that, he just fucking throws a spirit attack at us or whatever. Energy attack, he charges key, I don't know. It does less damage, but it's still actually really painful, so yeah, you might want to aim for him first, especially since he's got HP for days. Nice! That being said, in the end, took him out with a chef and a 69. Don't ask me to rephrase that, cause I won't. Alright, anyway, as I was about to say, I'm sure the elves will be happy that help's arrived. Cause, being attacked by, what was his name? Wanda Rosman or whatever? Yeah, I don't like the sounds of that. Oh! I should've known. Fantasy racism. Wow, what the fuck? Okay, first off, don't arrest the best character that... don't arrest that person that I don't know because I'm playing coy, as if I've never played this game before and don't know who anyone is. Oh, wow. Okay, so, two things I've learned. Elves are dicks, except Kirkus, and elves don't like Kirkus either. Alright, so yeah, we're dealing with an old bout of fantasy racism, of course. Ugh. Yeah, that's another thing Suikoden's not the best at. The first game, at least, kind of plays off of, like, a lot of D&D stuff, so for some reason we have elves and dwarves and kobolds in a JRPG based off a Chinese novel, and it just feels kind of weird. I mean, I'll be 100% honest, kobolds, absolutely, they make sense. I am all for kobolds. Wow, your stock fucking sucks. Are you not selling me good stuff, or what? Anyway, though, yeah, as I was saying, kobolds I'm fine with. Dwarves and elves kinda seem out of place, and also they don't do anything particularly interesting with them. Like, they go for the fantasy racism aspect, and... Like, I don't know how worn out that was at the time Suikoden was made, but I do know that it's tired now, and honestly, I'd prefer even Final Fantasy's, like, kinda boring version of, like, elves and dwarves, in which they're just sort of there. I think my favorite, like, use of, you know, more typical D&D-esque elements is probably Shining Force. Like, Shining Force does a good job of making, like, alternate species just sort of exist. Like, there are just elves and dwarves and centaurs. They're just there. There's no reason for them to be, but also they do still feel like a part of society, unlike Final Fantasy, where it's just like, hey, here's the dwarf town and the elf town. Oh, in this game, dwarves live underground, in hell, I guess. But yeah, Suikoden, not really the best use. I'm not fond of it. Also, some of the dudes have, like, alternate lines here. Like, this dude is only rude up front, but, like, the shopkeeper, if you try to sell him stuff, will just say, like, what junk are you trying to sell me? I didn't show it on screen because I completely missed it, until I was doing it on my own, but yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, I mean, Kirkus almost drowned, so I would say his day's not really been the best. I mean, is he the type to always look angry? 'Cause I get the feeling he is. I mean, Kirkus can do whatever he wants. He's a grown elf, I assume? Hey, buddy, as a human, let me tell ya, humans who are taking it easy after being horrible are generally going to be horrible a second time. That's usually how it works. Oh, hey, we're gonna attack you. Okay, we're just done forever. Ah, great. Wonderful. We got thrown in jail? Yeah, I can see that. You're pretty fast, my dude. Oh, well, I guess you and Kirkus both run away. Yeah, I gotta say, these elves, kinda dicks. What, you mean you didn't want to risk your lives for these elves that are horrible to everybody? Just in general? Huh, really weird. Well, alright then. That's that cutscene. Yeah, we should have just gone after the problem ourselves, but now we're in stupid jail, because that's always gotta happen in an RPG. Oh, is the cell just gonna open? Was that cell creaking? No, it's you. She was going to say it. See, I'm okay because, unlike all the other elves that are racist just because, I'm racist because humans die quickly. Honestly, my whole hang-up is the lifespan thing. Isn't that sad? Fantasy racism. Isn't that sad? It's very sad. That's some poignant remarks, my dude. You tell fantasy racism. Oh, what's this? Oh my god, guys, I'm looking at my phone. Racism is over. I don't know why it took this long for Suikoden to do that, but it single-handedly ended racism. That's very impressive. I keep saying racist, but technically speaking it's more speciesist. I mean, I know D&D calls them races, but they are technically speaking different species even if they are humanoid. I'd just like to point that out. Elves, technically a different species. Their biology is totally different, and they have different lifespans, as Sylvis has pointed out. And dwarves, also different. You know, Burning Mirror doesn't exactly sound the most threatening, so you might also want to tack on the whole burns down a forest in an instant thing, like, whenever you're introducing it, say, this is the Burning Mirror, the thing that will burn down a forest in an instant. Anyway, you coming along? Oh, okay, well, I'm not wasting time either, so goodbye, Valeria. Alright, so let's just get out of here. Thankfully the Elder's... Oh, this is Wall. Thankfully the Elder's not here, so he can't throw us in jail a second time. We're just gonna get out and not talk to anyone else, because everyone hates us. Alright, here we go. Alright, I'm gonna stop playing coy. Absolutely, yes. Get in the party. Hell yeah. Sorry, Antonio, but I think we're gonna ditch you. You go back to the castle and cook, because honestly, that's where you're pretty much the best there. Anyway, this is Valeria. I will admit I have a gigantic crush on Valeria, because she's really cool and, like, the best character in the game. She's got all-around good stats. She can equip everything, including shield. Well, not everything. There are certain armor types that she can't equip, but yeah, she can equip shields and it's good. And also, she has the Falcon Rune, which we're going to see in the next dungeon, and it's going to be really good because it's just a fucking flat 2x damage with no penalty whatsoever. Anyway, bye Sylvia. She's just going to stay here for now, which is good because, honestly, we've already got a back row character. Valeria is not one because she's short-ranged. Her weapon's already level 7. And, we want... Okay, this is her armor right now. I did forget to show off her armor after I went back into the town and bought her new equipment, but rest assured, it's different equipment. I mean, I did show you the equipment earlier, so just assume I took the most powerful stuff and gave it to her. Anyway, our next dungeon is over here. Oh, but first, we have to fight these guys. I forget why I showed this battle off, other than to just show off the Falcon Rune. I don't think these kobolds really did anything. The dudes in the back. They're all called kobold, but one's clearly a wizard. And yeah, Valeria fucking mudas the shit out of some fucker. She ruins somebody's day, and everyone missed. Alright, so anyway, yeah, she's not the fastest character, but her speed's decent as well. Yeah, I'm gonna skip the rest of this, because this is boring. Okay, we're done with that. So yeah, Valeria is super cool, and I like her a lot. Alright, so anyway, as I was about to say, this is our next dungeon. The Dwarf Trail. So, if you didn't find the previous dungeon all that difficult, this one might actually change your mind. The previous one ramped it up, this one is, whew, this one's tough, and it's also fairly long. And, like, all the enemies up here are tough, like the Death Boar and the Dwarves. We'll talk about dwarves later when there's a large group of them, but Death Boars are pretty frickin' tough. They're hardy, they're tough. The one good thing about them is pretty much the fact that, like most boars, they're not the most accurate, but when they are accurate, oh boy do they hurt. Yeah, that was 60 damage to both characters, right? 50 or 60? Yeah, so, there is a town after this dungeon, but I would suggest conserving as much as you can in terms of spell slots, because, again, a fairly long one. It probably won't feel as long with all the battles cut out, but trust me, with all the battles, it takes a while. I was definitely hurting by the end of this one. And yeah, be glad I did cut out the battles, because even if I did get a few levels up here, this is pretty much the length of most of the fights for the entire dungeon. These guys are just very hardy, and while area of effect attacks are useful, or like party attacks or whatever you want to call them, you probably don't have enough spell slots by this point to spam them, or even really, like, use them once per fight. That's probably pushing it. And the other problem is the fact that level 20 and 21 is about where you're supposed to be for this dungeon, meaning you're going to be earning, like, not amazing experience. The scaling in this game is good, is the thing, so you'll be as high a level as you need to be in basically every fight. Also, Eagleman's fairly tough, not the toughest enemy of the area. He's fairly fast, does a bit of damage, and has a bit of HP, but not as much as the Death Boars, I think. That being said, I love their attack animations, so I can't wait to see that. Anyway, Deadly Fingertips is incredibly helpful here, of course. If there's an enemy you just really don't like, just vaporize them, send them straight to hell. You don't need to deal with this shit. And of course, Valeria is an incredible add to the team, because, again, Eagle Rune, incredibly good. I mean, yeah, it only targets one person, but it's free 2 times damage. Yeah, that's his attack animation. He just fucking nonchalantly kicks the shit out of someone, and I love it. But anyway, yeah, Valeria, no consequence, free 2 times damage. Never bother with her normal attack, there's no need. You can just use the Eagle rune forever. You can't remove it from her, but, like, I think she's the only character in the game that can use it, because it's actually a fairly important rune. It's not one of the true runes like the Death Eater is, but nonetheless it's a powerful rune that only a few people have ever been able to master, so I think it's in pretty much every Suikoden game, but there aren't many characters who can use it, and usually they come with it and can't remove it. So it's unique and very useful, but it's extremely good. I said but like I didn't say it was helpful before. Anyway, though, yeah, Eagle Rune's super good, doesn't unbalance you, which is like the best part of it. It's not like the Clone Rune, which does a lot of damage, but leaves you prone. It's just good all around. You get some good armor here, just FYI, so if for some reason you didn't buy stuff for Valeria, which I could kind of understand if you didn't. Oh, Sacrificial Buddha! That's a very important item. That's a revival item. Those are fairly rare, so make sure to keep it. If one of your characters gets knocked out in battle, use that on them to bring them back. Basically just like put it on your most defensive character or someone in the back row. Like whoever you think isn't going to be knocked out in a fight. Like if you think there's a good chance somebody's going to be defeated in a battle, make sure they don't get it. That should be fairly obvious, but don't give the revival item to the person who needs a revive. Oh boy, we got dwarves. Alright, honestly, these guys are very similar to the Death Boars, except they don't give you a good-ass rune if you beat them. The Death Boars, of course, give you the Boar rune, just like, ooh, any other Boar-type enemy. But only 3 characters can use the Boar rune, so don't worry too much about that rare drop. That includes pawns, so yeah, only 2 other people need it. Anyway, yeah, dwarves. So, yeah, they're actually kind of like the Holly spirits, in that they hit pretty hard, they have a lot of HP, and they really like to counter, as seen there. Honestly, I would have Mir use Deadly Fingertips if I were you, because, honestly, at least for me, his track record for dodging, or not getting countered, isn't that good. Mir kind of frequently misses, and then gets hit by a counter, and it always sucks. But yeah, Deadly Fingertips is good. I would definitely save that for a dwarf for a Death Boar. Not Eagle Man, I think they're easy enough. Oh geez, maybe I shouldn't have been splitting attacks. Though it doesn't matter too much here, because he is done. Thank you, Valeria, for being ever so useful, and thank you, Suikoden, for being a well-designed game and letting me heal at the end of the fight, even though I finished before the healing happened. Again, good bit of game design. It's just too bad status effects don't work, because if they did, Wind of Sleep would be incredibly useful up here, because you could just put your enemies to sleep, and then the big groups up here wouldn't be as worrisome, because you could just render them, you know, mostly useless. That'd be nice, but alas, it rarely works because this is a JRPG in the 90s. That wasn't SMT. Alright, Fortune Rune increases luck if I haven't mentioned that already. I think we're actually almost done. We should be coming up on a Journeyman's Crystal, which, if you aren't me and you're not recording, absolutely use that. I mean, I shouldn't have to tell you, but it's so good. Hey Kiramimi, how did you get ahead of us? You went backwards when we last saw you. Oh well, you're adorable, so just keep on trucking, my dude. Oh. I hope you can trust us one day, Kiramimi. 'Cause I like you, even if you don't like me. Oh well, we'll leave him be for the time being. So yeah, we are pretty much done with the dungeon, and I do kind of like that this area ends with like this little tiled pathway. It's pretty cool. Alright, so next time on Suikoden, we will visit the dwarves and see if they're any more helpful than the elves. Let's hope to God they are.